This month's episodes are presented in partnership with our good friends at imagewraps.ca. Imagewraps.ca is your home for the best in signs and graphics that will be sure to get you noticed. They offer vehicle graphics, signage, and graphic design services that will help promote a business, event, partnership, or sale with exquisite appeal and a fresh look to bring eyes to you at a great cost. For our racing fans, look no further than some of the best looking race cars you see out on the track. ImageWraps.ca put those together. The cars of Andy Camrath, Cole Camrath, Carter Camrath, Rylan Camrath, Colton Everingham, Corey McAllister, Chad Strawn, Nolan Gould, Roy Wilkie, Layla Walzer, and every guest of ours this month all had their cars done by ImageWraps.ca. These cars shine on track while appealing to the partnerships on board. That is what ImageWraps.ca can deliver for you as well. Reach out to them at ImageWraps.ca if you want to glow on track with bright fonts, shiny wraps, designs that you reach and are appealing to the eye. We are so excited to present Image Wraps Month here on SNS, and we can't wait to see more of their designs on track. Not only they can offer this, but if you'd like designs for your race team, logos, marketing tools like banners, business cards, brochures, decals, they do that as well. This is your home for all things in visual branding. Go to imagewraps.ca and start your look today.
Hi, this is Mario Andretti, and you're tuned into Cam, Graydon, and the team at Stickers and Scuffs podcast. They're true Canadian racing fans.
Hello, friends. Welcome back to ImageWraps.ca month. We've got another Image Wraps driver here repping BT Racing after a very impressive run in the championship for the APC United Late Model Series. And, of course, he's always rocking the bone stock field, kicking butt week in and week out. And teammate to our own Graydon Bunn, it's Joe Lawrence. Joe, welcome to the show.
Thanks for having me, guys.
Well, it's got to be a big week for you guys. Yeah, it wasn't the championship, which is what you were hoping for. But, man, you guys have got to be extremely excited considering we didn't know if you were going to make the full season after the engine went kablooey earlier this year.
Yeah, definitely. Honestly, no complaints with the year the way it has been. Obviously, a championship would have been a dream way to end it. But to be honest, to lose it in that fashion, I enjoy just being a part of, two guys going out and, finishing the race, and who did better took the championship. There was no tire issues, nobody DNF'd. It was just a race to who got there first.
You guys, when you kind of make, I guess it was just a strategy call to make the adjustments on the car when you did, and you came back in, and the G-Force guys were like, we're not sure if this is scheduled or not, and we're just like, oh my God, what's going on? You gave us all like a nail biter moment there, and then you guys like cut your way back through the field and everything and really put on a show, man. Like you say, it wasn't the championship, but I mean, they sure knew you were there all season long.
Yeah, definitely. Honestly, a lot of people asked me what the strategy was going into the race, and I don't think there was really a right answer or really any way of making a plan ahead of time, because it just it all depends, where you're running, how you're doing, and what you feel, is best for you to end up being up front at the end of the thing. So
yeah,
that was kind of the goal, was obviously being behind the guys like JR and Steckley, who are really dominating the field in the early half. It was kind of a goal, was to get tires a stop before them and hopefully, put some cars in between us before they got their tires. And it worked out pretty good as far as what we thought it was going to do. We didn't quite adjust enough at that break to have a car to compete with JR. We definitely had long run speed, but the last 50 laps, it was kind of, he got out to a good lead, and that was all we could do about it.
It was almost like a restrictor plate race that you see in the Cup Series, in terms of, like, you guys are all going out there with a car count of 31 cars taking the green flag. Like, you can't possibly make a plan that is going to go exactly to the letter that you wrote it. I mean, there's like so many mathematical combinations that could go sideways, that it is almost like you just kind of have to be more or less prepared for anything, right?
Yeah, definitely. I said to the guys too, like, we could be prepared to stay out and try and run 200 laps on 4 tires, because, there might be the odd that if you're pitting for 2 tires and you go back to 20th, how good of a chance do you have of getting through the field? And 1, just on raw speed getting through the field, 2, without getting collected in any wrecks that may or may not happen. You never know.
That's right.
There was obviously, coming into this race, a lot of question about how the tires would hold up, and that ultimately played a big role in this race. Every 40 odd laps, there was a caution thrown. What did you guys see in terms of tire wear? Did you find that it was going to be a problem while you were actually going through about the race? Were your tires okay? Because obviously we saw it the next day, actually, which is not what anybody expected, was that the Pinty Series guys had a lot of problems with their tires early on. So how did it actually play out for you guys?
As far as like our team, we didn't really have any issues or struggles as far as tires. Actually, surprisingly enough, we had 4 new tires for second practice, and we put those on, and the car was actually like really bad. So I almost said just go back to the old tires we had and keep practicing. But with how short practice sessions are, it was really just, you couldn't do that without just not having any practice at all. So we tried a couple small things, knowing that we were having some issues with tires, and wasn't necessarily like a tire blistering off. It was just, it just gave a weird feeling to the car that, it was like, this isn't right. Something's wrong. And typically you can kind of pick up on that. Unfortunately, it's the way it goes with tires sometimes. And that kind of problem I had, I feel, can happen with any tire. It's not really just an American racer. As far as, our main concern was people blistering tires and not being able to run the 200 laps, which we didn't see any issues with our car. I don't think there was many issues that were seen as a whole. So I think they did a really good job with what they came out with for tire scuffing and keeping them under control. And obviously the 40 lap competition cautions helped with that. And, all in all, the event went very well.
Yeah, I think the one disappointment maybe for fans is it did kind of seem like it did take a bit of the action away. And I imagine as a driver, that might have been a little bit frustrating, because as you said, you felt like if you got wrong speed and they're going to throw a caution every 40 laps, it's like by the time you get to that long run, all of a sudden there's a caution again. The refueling obviously got a little bit longer of an extended period to do that. So as you're sitting in the car, waiting to get back going again. What was going through your mind? Because you had this break, not something that you guys are normally doing in an APC race. So what was the mindset following this kind of extended period of time? And you've got to get ahead of everybody to win the championship.
Honestly, it doesn't really phase me for that kind of thing. Like, whether it's 200 laps or 100 laps, the game plan's still the same at lap 1 of what we need to do. So even though there's a halfway break, it's a good chance to just talk about, what can we do, like what we need to do to put ourselves in that position. So it actually more or less, to me, just kind of helped, because you get going under caution, you get 2 or 3 caution laps usually that you can talk back and forth, and you're almost talking back and forth for the next caution, because if caution comes out and you say, okay, I'm pitting this time, generally that just leads to not a good show on pit road, and nobody knows what they're doing, what they need to be done, and you're just all in all not prepared for that kind of stuff. So definitely you can use that kind of time to your advantage of just being prepared. If you want to make a change, put a spring rubber in, you have it on top of the wall ready to go. You're just overall more prepared.
I love it's funny. I like rocks. My little 4-year-old niece likes rocks just by the genes, and it was her thing to pick out 28 rocks for me as good luck rocks. Do you have any like superstitions or like routines or anything that you need to do or you have to do?
Honestly, not many come to mind. I can't really think of something that I absolutely have to do before the race. I feel like if I really think about it, there's probably something that I do every time, and I'm not
right. Yeah, because it's that routine or whatever or something, probably, right?
Definitely. And I guess in 2020, when we won that championship, the very first race we stopped for ice cream on the way, and we went out. So it was kind of that carried on quite a bit, that every time we're going to the racetrack, we got to stop for ice cream if we can. And we always, Chris, Sarah, and I always joke whenever we go to Sobel, we always go to stop at the place is called Soti's, and it's about 10 minutes away from the track. We always joke that we're just going to get ice cream, and we're just might as well go the extra 30 minutes to go racing as well.
I think that counts, Kev?
Yeah, I mean, it works out, and I'm just saying. Then, if anybody out there, Chapman's, listen, you got an ice cream guy right here that would love to have your brand on his race car. I'm telling you, that's a perfect idea right
Except
there.
for baby Lucas,
it's got to be stated how close this season could have ended for you guys, and you guys went close to get some help, and you went really close. You went to mom for your engine, and I can't imagine that's always an easy conversation to have. So, and then not after getting the engine from mom, did you go to, I don't know if you're going to call him Uncle Tom or Mr. Tom or Gibbons, the man, or whatever it is. You guys got some really, really big help this year. And one of the things that we really like to talk about on this show is camaraderie and sportsmanship. And Tom Gibbons is a competitor of you guys, yet was able to help you guys get to that finish line. Let's just talk about that situation as a whole.
Honestly, it's just I've always known Tom to be that kind of guy. He's just very class act, clean racer on track, lots of respect off track. He just all around is a great guy. So honestly, like we weren't even thinking about how are we going to keep racing, like how are we going to, the car was in the trailer and we said that this might be the end of the year. And at Sobel, we just finished off watching the races, ended up trying to help people who were pitting and all this stuff, just to, like you said, just even though we're competitors on track, I like to see everyone stay on track and, finish races. That's where, to me, I don't want to win races by people not finishing them. I want to win because every single car is on track, and that night I was the better driver, better car, whatever you want to say. We won that night because we were the best. And same goes for everybody. Deckley, in my opinion, won the championship because he was the best this year. Overall, he did what he needed to do to come home on top. As far as Tom goes, it was after the race. We were just, finishing up, cleaning up, and getting ready to head to our friend's cottage for the night. He walked over and just said, "Hey, I have a motor sitting on my shelf. I last ran it at, I think he said Flamborough the year before. He said, come get it and finish off the year with it." So for someone, like not even just a competitor, just someone in general to come off or something like that is definitely amazing. And like you said, to be able to finish the year off and have the shot we did was just unbelievable.
It was definitely probably one of the best storylines of the year, I think, in terms of racing. Like, you guys, like, by your own admission, you don't have like the larger scale budgets like the other guys do, and you brought the big fight to the big guns, and they sure knew you were there at the end of the season. And that I was at Sauble racing for another team, and the car I drive with you, and as the driver shows up at Sauble, what's it like doing a completely ass backwards discipline, literally, in terms of the drive wheels and everything being front wheel drive, switching your brain over to bone stock discipline? You're a race car driver, there's no doubt about it. So what's it like shifting the brain over to front wheel drive four bangers?
Honestly, it's just a lot of fun. It's funny listening to people say that wouldn't ever drive one just because.
Yeah, why not?
Yeah, it's whatever. Drive, and if someone wanted to put me in a golf cart race, I'd go do it because that just sounds like a lot of fun.
Totally.
So it's race whatever. It's all the same. It's just different aspects of how you go about it, and the kind of, like you said, the morale behind it. There's not, you go bone stock racing, and it's not as serious. It's more low key, kind of having fun with a bunch of guys, which, APC, the level that is still a lot of fun. It's just, to me, the way I describe it is a different kind of fun. You go there, you have a little bit of seriousness behind you. You want to win. You still want to have fun. Obviously, you do all these same things in any division you're in. It just always feels like it's a lot more relaxed when you're in a bone stock division.
Mm-hmm. It's a division that they routinely say, anybody can go out and do it. Well, we've got somebody here who's gone out and done it, thanks to you guys and your team. Joe, when you guys started running the bone stock division, what was it like compared to now? Because it's something that we I think thanks to Rogers Television, frankly, we both had no idea what this division was. We knew of these types of cars at, Sunset, but we had no interest in them then. But I find that thanks to Delaware's coverage, you guys have really shown us how much they're fun to watch. And actually, seeing Graydon race on Sunday, it was the first time I've ever actually seen bone stocks at Delaware live. You guys don't mess around. We talk about APC being fast, but those bone stocks, they don't mess around either. What's it like being in that field where you sometimes got 40 cars you got to go up against?
Honestly, I absolutely love that's my favorite thing with the bone stocks. A late model race, you'll never see 4 guys go into turn 1 and try and go 4 wide. And crazy passes. You're never going to see that in late model because, quite frankly,
you just can't
ever work. And, more often than not, if it doesn't work, that's a lot of money going down the drain. And, a lot of people probably not happy. Bone stock car, you get in there, you get up into someone's door a little bit, nothing too crazy, rubbing's racing kind of thing. But you go in there and there's cars in every lane, driving everywhere, just trying to go to the front. And that makes it so much fun because there's never a dull moment. There's always something going on the racetrack when all the bone stocks are out.
And that's it. Like, I drove the very same car in June, and then again with a little more of a Joe Lawrence-esque type setup in it this time around. And when I went out this weekend with it, I hadn't been in it for a while, hadn't been at Delaware since June, and I was just scrubbing the tires on the back stretch, and I thought something was broken because I had just about spun it out. And then I tiptoed it through practice, and Chris asked me how it was, and I was like, I think there's something wrong. And he's just like, no, he's like, just drive it. And so then when I went out in the second practice, got a little braver, and then in the heat race, when you kind of suck it up in the spirit of competition, it's just like there's nothing wrong with the car at all. It's just like it was an education literally in the same car, just like how much adjustability there actually is in those setups to make. I mean, there's still like fast cars in the disc. Like there's always someone to race from top to bottom through the field is what I'm getting at.
Definitely. It's always great to see that. And especially Delaware, the car count they've been able to have and maintain all year is spectacular in itself. Not to say any other track isn't doing bad, because bone stock is just a really thriving division everywhere, in my opinion. Like, I think I can't recall for sure, but I believe we're in above 40 cars registered for Frostfest this weekend. I don't know when I last saw that, but that's going to be crazy to me. Even the enduro races at Flamborough, that's some of the funnest racing I've ever been a part of. Again, you get going. There's no cautions. It's a car could be turned sideways as long as it's not driver's side facing the field. You're going around it one way or another, and you're not trying to do it slowly by any means.
Yeah.
I gotta wonder, Joe, because you've been in the division for a while. I always like to throw it out there. I think we've asked Chris a couple times, but we Graydon and I have kind of thought of that there's two different looks when we get the Lawrence brothers. We've got Joe and we've got Chris, and they're very, very different, even though they're brothers. Very similar to this podcast. We're not official brothers, but there's very big differences between the two of us. I've got to ask.
And my boys too are the very same thing.
Very much the same, yeah. Weird how opposites attract like that, right? But Joe, what's a car that hasn't been in the bone stock division that you want to see race at Delaware Speedway?
Ooh, that's a
loaded question.
It is
loaded, because we got Sunfires for days. All right, but there's something I know, like when we get
they're an endangered species. You got to keep them around.
But they don't die. That's the thing that's good about them, right?
Yeah,
look after them. They look after you.
Really say I have a good answer for that, because I'm sure I haven't paid enough attention to say I know how many cars have been out there, because there's been a lot. I remember the first car I was going to build myself for bone stocks was a little Honda Civic. Now I don't know if I'm sure someone has built one over the years. I just haven't noticed. But I think that would have been cool to finish through. Unfortunately, it didn't get to see the racetrack. But it would have been a fun build to just see. And that's kind of the thing. I feel like I don't pay enough attention to the back end of the building aspect of things. Like Chris typically just gives me a car that's race ready, and I can do setup stuff that I know will help cars. But as far as going online and, picking a car that I think would be fast, I would take some time. I definitely need to figure it out. But I think there's guys that know that a lot better than me currently.
Might maybe me, Chris, right?
Yeah. I don't know if he might know exactly. He's pretty good with his Sunfires and Cavaliers. I think he's got a couple of Cobalts, but I think one day here we'll probably build something completely different just to see. So,
I mean, Graydon and I have been floating out. We said it before. A bone stock caravan division is the way to go. It'd kill you on gas, but it'd be one hell of a show. The Delaware crowd loves the vans in King of the Hill, so I'm thinking
those 3.6 V6s in those vans would haul those suckers up. It would be just like insane fun.
Oh yeah,
be a big cage.
Yeah.
We went and did one of the dirt races at, I think it was Southern Ontario, I believe was the track we went to. It was their like New Year's Eve race that they were going to do, or New Year's Day race, but it got postponed a little bit. But there was a truck there for it, because the rules were just any 4-cylinder vehicle, put a cage in and go. That was pretty entertaining. I think it was a little too top heavy. Definitely turned a little too easily, but he was committed to doing some loops in the corner.
I mean, at this rate, having some sort of like almost like you got the IMSA divisions with different classes on the track at one time. You got to do an enduro with trucks, vans, cars. What else you can fit on that racetrack at one time?
Just like the 401 enduro, like anything goes. Run what you brung.
Pretty much. How is it like getting to work and basically have a brother that is nuts? He's so into motorsports and he brought 15 or 14 odd cars this weekend. He's got this massive hauler that they had this weekend. That's got to be
Thank you,
really cool.
Oakwood Transport.
Thank you, Oakwood Transport. What's it like, man? Because we know that that racing is a family, and that your family has been involved in it for such a long time.
Yeah, honestly, some of the stuff he comes up with is just crazy. Like the day he showed me a picture, he said, "I got a car hauler that's going to take all my cars to the track this week." That it's never a dull moment, that's for sure. So I don't get to go out to the shop much, and I don't know if that's a good thing or a bad thing, because typically when I go there, he seems to get really upset that I get really picky with things. But as long as I win, he's usually pretty happy.
Yeah, the field got really competitive this year. It hasn't been as easy for you guys to go out and get wins. Obviously, Jeremiah's right out there week in and week out. Jason Lovey's been up there. Jay Cox's been up there. Colin Wilms has been up there. Is it becoming a harder field to race, or are people just getting more creative with their bone stocks?
I wouldn't say harder. Definitely like more competitive.
Yeah.
Which is, to me is awesome to see. Like, as much as I like winning and I want to be the winner all the time, it is really cool to look back at the end of the year and just see how many different winners there was, right? Again, I would love to go out and win every race I'm in. But that's the competitor in everyone. They want to be winners, but as a fan and a spectator, just even from the outside looking in, when you take a step back, to see multiple different winners in any division, and crazy amount of people being able to contend, like to say anyone in the top 10 at any given time can win this race tonight, is really cool to see, and really just good for the sport, in my opinion.
Absolutely. We got to bring this sort of full circle. This is Image Wraps month. Your car started the year plain black with numbers on it, and some creative vinyl cutting on the hood, shouting at your mom. And then you got some great bright colors on there, and the Great Lakes concrete deal and stuff. Just kind of talk a little bit about Image Wraps and your partners that kind of helped make this season what it was for you, Joe.
Yeah, obviously, Image Wrap and the work they do is really phenomenal. Almost any car I've seen come out of that shop just really pops, and you get to see it on track, and somehow it just looks even better on track than it does of pictures inside the garage, stuff like that. But they've always done the wraps on Nick's cars, and when he first said he wanted to help me, it was like awesome. Like, this is gonna be great. And Nick's been an awesome supporter of mine for all of my late model career. Really, he helped me get started in it. When I came back from school, I worked with him a little bit at Sunset Speedway and started driving his other car he had part-time here and there. And then it turned into, he did a Great Lakes series between Sauble and Sunset. And he said that I'm good to run the whole thing in that car. So it kind of just stemmed as the years went on. He just kept, putting me in more and more races that really just put me out there for opportunities that have got me to where I am now. But he said that he's a big fan of color. He likes yellow. He likes bright. He likes it to stand out. So he said that was the first thing. He said that we're gonna do something. We gotta get the car to Image Wrap and get it all cleaned up and make it stand out on track. Which I was all for. I again love the work that they do. They helped us out again near the end of the year with getting us some vinyl and some color to clean up the car a little bit from a couple races, and got a couple war wounds in it.
Yeah.
Before we get to the partners that you want to thank for helping you out, and just in general the people that help you out for the season. Been in the APC series for a couple years. Been a bone stock driver for a couple years. I want to hear one driver from each division that you think is somebody that we all need to pay attention to because they've got a good future in those divisions.
That's a tough one because there's a lot of good people.
You're not going to hurt any feelings, we promise. Well,
you say that. Someone will text me at the end of it.
Yeah. What about me?
Yeah.
you can do a couple. That works too.
Well, we'll start with bone stocks. I guess the first driver we'll do in-house to the BT team. I really want to see how Jessie Howard progresses. Really as a rookie year, she's done a really great job in what she has. So I'd be really excited to see, where she goes from there. And I hope she keeps progressing the way she has been because, one day I think she'll be a feature winner in the bone stock.
She damn near had that heat win on Friday night too.
Yeah.
That was Friday night, right? Yeah.
Yeah, we were scaling the late model and we decided to turn the TV on here. And we're like, oh, we can watch the races still. So we completely forgot we're getting the car ready. And it's like, oh man, it'd be fun to go watch the races. Completely forgot about the fact that they're, you can watch from home. So, yeah, we'll turn these on. And we turned it on right as the heat race was rolling out. And we're like, oh, sweet, perfect timing. So she's one of them. I gotta think of some others here. There's a lot of good ones. Donovan Clark has been very, very well progressing here. It's, top 5 right now. And I think there's still room for more out of him. And that's going to be cool to see. Honestly, just, the young guys and girls that are coming in is just awesome to see. And I say the same thing for, series like the junior late models. I really love seeing the kids go out there and get better and improve week in, week out, and just to see how much they want to be there and want to be involved is really awesome. As far as the late models, that one's pretty tough because there's not a ton of new guys right now, and it's always hard because you can be a really good driver and just have a year of struggling with your car that just doesn't show just how good your team is, stuff like that. And honestly, even to say that, like the aspect of a bone stock car, I feel like you can take a driver, put him in, and he can go run up front. He doesn't really need an amazing car. He doesn't really need a ton of crew or good help to put the car up front. The late model scene for APC especially is just so difficult because there's so many aspects that make a car win a feature race. You need a good driver. You need to have the crew that's there to adjust, because we get 2 practice sessions. They're both typically 20, maybe 25 minutes long, which you say that out loud sitting here seems like quite a bit of time. But realistically, you're lucky if you get maybe 2 runs in each session. So if you unload and you're not in the ballpark, you're asking a whole lot out of your crew to get you there and get you there quick. So it's cool to see that. If I had to pick at least one driver to kind of see where they're going, Tyler DiVincenzo definitely showed some good speed this year and had a couple good races. I think he's really improving and come a long way from where he started. So that's definitely cool to see, and again, another one to watch and see progress.
Absolutely. And Joe, like that's where all you guys started, right? You started in the smaller divisions and had to work your way up, but obviously you have a lot of people that you want to thank that get you and support you each and every race weekend. So let's hear them. This is your moment to let it shine.
Oh, this should have started writing this down earlier today. I always miss someone, and I haven't been this year. Just so many people have, started the year alone that came in and, just unexpectedly and didn't have to. Like Jim Mears just came in, visited me at work one day, and he just came in, said, "I like how you drive. I really like watching you, and I want to be a part of the team this year and support you guys." Someone we didn't even send a proposal to, we didn't even approach. He just came in and really liked what we were doing, which is crazy just to see people that want to do that. It's not often someone wants to come in and get money to go racing, because it's just not, these times right now is very hard to have free money that you can just give out. So to have these guys like Jamie with Paragon and Nick with Great Lakes Concrete, they all just stepped up, and none of them have to, and they all do it because they want to, and it's great just to see that kind of support. Adam at Corey's, he's helped a lot, and that's another one too. Will Corey, that was his second start yesterday or Sunday.
Yep.
I think he's going to be another one that starts coming around. He's 2 races in. He did very good in the junior late model his last year, so he'll be another one coming around, I'm sure. Who else? Obviously, my mom. Unfortunately, we like to make fun of it now that it's in the past. So she enjoys it. She made us cupcakes for the weekend and said sorry about the motor. But we're definitely having fun with it. Again, Tom for helping us finish off the year. Chris and Sarah for even just, again, Chris and his crazy ideas of fielding 14, 15 bone stocks and then deciding that we can do a whole APC season. We got this. is a great mentality. It's awesome to have. And then the team that we had, Jess and Jaden Chapman, obviously hopped on board. Kind of worked around their racing schedule just to come help us as friends. Is awesome to have them along. I talked to Jay at the beginning of, or I think it was partway through last year. We just had a small conversation in the pits of Delaware, and it just came up of what I was planning or trying to do next year. And I said, honestly, I would love to do APC. I don't know if I'm going to be able to. And if I can't do that, I'm not really sure there's anything I wanted to do, because I strongly agree with the moving up divisions when you can. For me, it didn't make sense to run bone stocks full time for a long period of time, because it's just, I don't want to not race. So I'm going to race within the budget that's there. So bone stocks was right at that moment in time. But I knew that I needed to work on getting back to where I feel like I belong. So it's, I'll always run a bone stock race here or there, because it's too fun to stay away from.
You got to show us old farts how it's done anyways, follow you around a little bit.
Yeah. I think it was Phil the one time last year when I came out. He came over after practice and said, I figured out where I'm gaining time now. And I asked him, why is that? And he's like, you just gapped me by 3 or 4 car lengths entering turn 3. I didn't know I could drive it in that far. Well, there you go. We're learning something. But back to Jay brought his boy Lucas as well. When we said we're going to do APC, he said he wanted to be involved. And we're like, perfect, come along. And he was a great addition. Him and Lucas said there's not many kids his age that will work as hard as he does. So it's
damn right.
Yeah, we got pretty much a 2-for-1 deal there when we added Jay.
They're great people.
Yeah, his wife too comes to the track, and they're just a great family as well. So it's been a lot of fun. We have Darren Glavin on the team. I know I'm missing people because there's so many that just come and help. Nick's helped here and there. See, this is where I hate this kind of stuff, because there's always some message about it. But everyone that has been a part of it has been great to have, and honestly, that's where it makes it fun. The people you're with and who you're working with on these cars is really, to me, what makes it worthwhile. Realistically, when you stand back and look at it, it's like, well, I'm spending $3,000-$4,000 to go race a car this weekend. That doesn't sound like a good time until you realize, who you're with and the memories you have while doing it.
That's a great way to end it.
Yep. Well said.
Definitely. And Joe, we obviously want to thank you for being part of our SNS Racing family. Makes it fun for us to watch all the friggin' BT racing cars out there. And of course, you repping us in the APC United Late Model Series up against a former SNS driver in Kyle Steckley. All the best in the offseason. Hopefully we get to see you back full time again in 2024. But thank you so much for joining us tonight.
No problem. Thanks for having me, guys.